Life can unravel with such ruthless swiftness that it feels like the ground has vanished beneath your feet. One moment, everything seems secure, unchanging, and in the next, it collapses into dust. I'm 32, sitting in the bedroom where I grew up, under my parents' roof again in Dallas. The space still clings to echoes of a former version of me. The walls were the same aging posters of long-forgotten bands, their corners lifting like pages in an unread book. My childhood desk is still here, buried beneath souvenirs of a girl I barely recognize anymore. A dry, sarcastic laugh slips from me as I absorb the bitter absurdity of it all. I'm Emma. And this isn't the future I pictured. I never thought I'd end up back here, walking through the debris of my younger years, replaying the choices that dragged me to this point. It all began with Ethan. We crossed paths at a housewarming party hosted by Sarah, a friend who had just moved into one of those effortlessly elegant townhomes I'd always imagined having someday. The moment I stepped through her front door, a flicker of envy gripped me, not just for the cozy decor or the carefully curated ambience, but for the life she had built, a flourishing career, a loving fiancé, a future that looked bright and certain. And there I was, single, worn thin by a carousel of meaningless updates and empty exchanges, quietly dreading I'd never meet someone who truly saw me. That's when I noticed Ethan. He wasn't flashy or trying to command the room, but his presence had weight. He was tall, dark-haired, composed, not in an intimidating way, but calm and deeply present. What caught my attention wasn't how he looked, but how he listened. He paid attention with his whole being, like every word mattered. We spoke for hours that night. And for the first time in what felt like years, something in me stirred, a small, stubborn hope that maybe, just maybe, I had found someone who wouldn't vanish. Ethan became everything I dreamed of in a partner. He was considerate, steady, warm. With him, the world felt less chaotic. Everything between us moved quickly, but it never felt rushed. Within a year, he proposed. 1 year later, we said our vows surrounded by everyone we loved. It should have been perfect. For a while, it was. He was dependable, loving, the safe harbor I'd never known. But in time, the very steadiness that had once felt like security began to feel like stillness. The magic I had once seen in his gentle gestures, notes slipped quietly into my bag, or the way he never once forgot my coffee order, began to feel predictable. He wasn't the type to book spontaneous weekend getaways or make grand, sweeping declarations. Instead, he showed up every single day, with quiet consistency and a kind of love that didn't ask for applause. And I began to take it for granted. Little by little, doubt crept in. Had I chosen comfort over passion? Stability over spark? What started as quiet thoughts soon grew louder, until they drowned out everything else. It all came to a head one night at an intimate dinner with close friends. The conversation wandered to love. Was it about fate, or simply timing? Someone asked how you really know you've chosen the right person. Without thinking, I let out a laugh, sharp, careless, and said, "Honestly, if I could do it over again, I'm not sure I'd have married Ethan." Silence fell like a curtain. The glow of the evening vanished in an instant. I felt the blood drain from my face. I turned to Ethan. He didn't yell. He didn't even flinch. He just gripped his glass tightly and said, "Good to know." His voice was calm, but it cut through me like broken glass. I panicked. Tried to backpedal. Called it a joke. A stupid, clumsy thing to say. But the damage was already done. He didn't argue. He didn't scold me. That night, he said nothing more. Just slipped into bed in silence. I thought we'd talk in the morning. That we'd patch it up, like always. But when I woke, his side of the bed was empty. His things gone. No toothbrush. No clothes. No note. Only his wedding ring, left beside a photo from our honeymoon. Carefully placed on the nightstand like a quiet goodbye. I stared at it, hollowed out. I called. No response. I texted. Nothing. For a while, I told myself he just needed space. That he'd return once the sting faded. But days turned to weeks. Then a month. That's when I knew he wasn't coming back. What broke me wasn't just his absence. It was how seamlessly he seemed to move on. While I drowned in regret, Ethan was already stepping into a new chapter. One day, while wandering the city aimlessly, I saw him at a cafe. He was laughing. At ease. Sitting with a woman who seemed to radiate confidence and grace without even trying. She looked like everything I wasn't. And the way Ethan looked at her. That's how he used to look at me. The ache was unbearable. Part of me wanted to rush over, beg him to remember what we had, plead for another chance. But I didn't move. Because deep down I knew. He was gone. And worse, I had never truly deserved him. Regret isn't a thunderclap. It's a slow, silent tide that creeps in until you're drowning without even realizing it. I had something extraordinary. And I let it slip away because I was too fixated on chasing something I thought I lacked. Ethan didn't leave because he stopped loving me. He left because he finally understood that I could never love him the way he needed. So here I sit, alone in the remnants of my old life, surrounded by ghosts of who I was, buried beneath the weight of everything I threw away. People say you don't appreciate what you have until it's gone. But sometimes, you do know. You just never believe it will actually disappear.